What happens when the most invisible woman in the room decides to chase a love that's just as unexpected as her own awakening? If society expects you to be quiet, plain, or proper, how far would you go to seize life, to find yourself, and to love bravely in a world that doesn't see you? For more than 2 centuries, Mary Bennet, the overlooked, awkward, pedantic middle daughter of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, has been a byword for plainness and obscurity. But in Linz MacLeod's witty, poignant, and radically heartfelt sapphic novel, The Unlikely Pursuit of Mary Bennet, Mary rises from background noise to become the luminous center of her own story. Through MacLeod's contemporary lens, Mary discovers not just herself, but a forbidden and transformative love, questioning the cost of duty, the courage it takes to be different, and what truly makes a happy ending. After the marriage of Elizabeth and Jane, and the whirlwind fates of all the other Bennet sisters, Mary is left to nurse her bookish habits, her love of order, and the sharp pain of always being the other one. She has resigned herself to spinsterhood, caretaking, and the knowledge that her music and sermons are endured, never enjoyed. Lydia's recklessness, Kitty's immaturity, each has been absorbed or married off. Amid the hush of a shrinking household, Mary's solitude deepens. Her mother sighs at her. Her father indulges but never encourages. The legacy of Longbourn's ever-looming entailment is, for Mary, a kind of spiritual inheritance. She is expected to disappear. But what if the future doesn't have to be what's expected? One spring, an invitation arrives from her recently married sisters. Jane and Bingley wish to host her at their comfortable estate for the summer. Elizabeth, now Mrs. Darcy, radiant mistress of Pemberley, extends her own more reserved but earnest welcome. With some reluctance, and the secret hope that she might finally matter, even a little, Mary allows herself to be packed off, trading silence and shadows for a taste of freedom and the unknown. Bingley's estate is peace made manifest. Laughter, children, and music fill the rooms. Jane is a serene and attentive hostess, and even Mary, so often ill at ease, senses a softening in the unspoken expectations. But it is at Pemberley, with Lizzie and Darcy, that everything changes. Here, in rooms thick with books and bright with intelligent company, something in Mary's rigid worldview begins, ever so slightly, to thaw. Elizabeth's sharp wit and Darcy's encouragement for both reading and intellectual conversation draw Mary out, and she finds her mind and heart growing sharper by proximity. Yet she is hyper-aware that she is still not enough, that she is not dazzling, not sought after. She pours herself into music, and only occasionally, late at night, allows herself to wonder what it would be like to truly feel wanted. It is at a summer musical evening that she first meets Miss Alexandra Crewe, a visitor to Pemberley from the city, and a woman as intriguing as she is unorthodox. Alexandra is vivacious, clever, and mischievously, quietly rebellious. She wears her cleverness like a jewel and her independence like armor. She takes an interest in Mary, not just her playing, but in her ideas, her shy humor, her quickness. For perhaps the first time, Mary feels someone looking at her, not through her, but at her, with curiosity and even delight. Conversations blossom over poetry, over long walks at Pemberley's fringes, in the hush of the library, or during strolls in the golden hours of the English countryside. Alexandra is unafraid to tease, to challenge, to compliment in ways that leave Mary blushing and confused. Their friendship is immediate, intense, hinting at meanings beneath words. As the weeks pass, the societal strictures Mary has internalized slowly begin to unravel, challenged by Alexandra's gentle insistence that things can and should be different. Alexandra pushes Mary to try new things, riding, debating, confiding, encouraging a sense of agency that Mary had convinced herself she neither wanted nor deserved. It is through these clandestine conversations and shared triumphs that the sapphic build-up draws momentum. An afternoon rain shower finds them caught together, sheltering under the same tree, huddled close. Alexandra's hand brushes Mary's, and though both pretend not to notice, something shifts. Mary's heart stutters, a current of desire jolting her into acute awareness. She is at once thrilled and terrified, pulled into territory, completely unfamiliar, yet desperately wanted. Confidences deepen. Mary, emboldened by Alexandra's interest, begins to share parts of herself she has never aired. Her loneliness, her secret longing to matter, her anger at always being the good daughter, the reliable one. Alexandra, in response, speaks honestly of her own secrets as a woman who has loved outside society's rules. She tells stories of a life lived sometimes in disguise, of impossible loves glimpsed and let go, of the cost of honesty in a world that wants nothing more than conformity. Together, they create a protected world, an island of honesty within a sea of expectations. Occasionally, Elizabeth's sharp eyes linger on them, curious, perhaps even knowing. Jane, ever gentle, senses a happiness in Mary she has never seen before. Society, of course, is never far away. Rumours start to swirl among the county gossips as Mary and Alexandra are seen together too often, their intimacy impossible to entirely mask. Mary's mother, when visiting, tisks and frets over Mary's continued singlehood, pressing her toward eligible but deeply tiresome men. The pressure mounts, external and internal. Mary is racked with guilt and fear. Every half glance, every meaningful touch holds risk and possibility. One evening, when left alone after dinner, the others turned in, the candles guttering low, Mary, nervous and trembling, finds the courage to speak honestly to Alexandra about her feelings. She wonders if her longing is even possible, if such happiness could truly be meant for her. Alexandra, patient and kind, confesses in return. She loves Mary's intellect, her seriousness, her capacity for joy that she keeps so tightly hidden. Their first kiss is hesitant but electric, a world-altering shift that leaves both women shaken but exultant. For Mary, the revelation is both rapture and terror. In Alexandra's arms, she is desired, chosen, and cherished. But the enormity of what this means, how it could destroy or make her, crashes down in waves. Afterward, their intimacy grows deeper, secret meetings growing in intensity and tenderness. Mary feels both empowered and endangered. She must balance her growing happiness with Alexandra against her family's reputation and the stifling safety in invisibility. Alexandra, worldly and brave, admits her own limitations. There is nowhere to run in this society, no place where their love can be public. Even so, she is steadfast. She will not ask Mary to hide forever, but she will also never ask her to forfeit herself. As the season ends, a crisis looms. A letter arrives with news that rumours have travelled. Tongues are wagging in nearby villages, and Mary's discreet happiness is threatened with exposure. Elizabeth counsels caution, Jane offers unconditional support, and for the first time, even Mr. Bennet offers something resembling pride in Mary's strength. Mary is forced to confront the choices before her. She can fade once more into the background, return to Longbourn, care for her mother, and live a life of safety and service, all the while haunted by the possibility of real happiness. Or she can seize what is being offered, a future with Alexandra, no matter how circumscribed by propriety and secrecy, a future where she is loved passionately and profoundly, not merely tolerated. In a final confrontation with her family, Mary shocks them all. She calmly but firmly refuses the latest eligible proposal, citing her own happiness and fulfillment as her guiding star. Eleanor, her mother, is outraged. Her father is bemused. her sisters, a mix of supportive and uncertain. It is Elizabeth who ultimately stands beside Mary, reminding everyone what true love and courage cost in their own time. Mary, with Alexandra by her side, chooses not only love, but selfhood. They will never be the celebrated couple at the heart of a ball, but they will be partners in intellect, music, domesticity, and the radical act of being true in a world that demands you hide. Mary's transformation is the triumph of MacLeod's novel. She emerges from the margins, awkward, overlooked, resigned, to a woman brave enough to love and be loved, to claim space, conversation, and meaning for herself. She learns the strength of vulnerability, of intellect that bends but never breaks, and the power that comes from demanding happiness on her own terms. Through Alexandra's friendship and eventual love, Mary finally allows herself to shed the armor of sarcasm and stoic reserve, discovering not only her desire, but also an emerging sense of agency and hope. Mary grows into a woman who understands the value of gentle rebellion, of creating a chosen family, and of embracing difference, even when it flies in the face of tradition. Alexandra, too, deepens. While she first appears almost unflappable and modern, her affection for Mary helps her rediscover what it's like to trust, to be patient, and, crucially, to fight for a love that asks not just for passion, but for steadfast partnership. Through their relationship, Alexandra finds a place to belong, someone who sees her wholly, outside the realm of fleeting trysts and secret meetings. Their love does not guarantee a glittering public future, but rather a mature, enduring bond built on mutual respect and the quiet, daily pursuit of joy. The other Bennets, Elizabeth and Jane in particular, are reshaped in their responses to Mary's evolution. Elizabeth recognizes much of her own defiant spirit reflected in Mary's newfound honesty, and Jane's support is unconditional, mirroring the familial love that Mary always craved but seldom received. Even the once dismissive Mr. Bennet begins to soften, acknowledging that contentment is perhaps a greater virtue than conformity. The storm-soaked confession under the tree. When Mary admits, mostly to herself, that Alexandra excites something new and thrilling in her, this is the hinge on which Mary's fate turns. No longer can she retreat into studied detachment. The music room kiss. Their first embrace, hesitant but real, is quietly radical, a claim to happiness, however hidden, in the face of rigid social order. The confrontation with Mrs. Bennet. Mary, for the first time, stands her ground, choosing honesty over peace, and making clear that her life will not be dictated by others' disappointment or fear. The farewell-turned reunion. When Alexandra, fearing for Mary's safety and happiness, considers leaving to protect her, Mary's chase after her, insisting they belong together, consequences be damned, is an echo not just of romantic pursuits, but of true adult partnership. The quiet home together. The narrative's end does not grant Mary a triumphal parade, but offers something richer. Two women, sharing tea and music, content to make a life in each other's company, whatever the outside world may think. The novel's slow-burn development of Mary and Alexandra's romance is notable for its realism. From the first flutter of curiosity, through nervous concealment, to the wild, frightening liberation of mutual confession. Their relationship isn't just romantic, but intellectual and emotional, a meeting of equals who challenge and comfort, support and surprise each other. Resolution comes not with grand societal approval, but with a mutual recognition that their lives are best lived together, regardless of others' judgment or the limitations imposed by their time. Mary does not become the belle of society, nor does Alexandra win improbable acceptance from every quarter. Instead, their love is made real and radical by the daily choice to share burdens, to shape their home with care, and to grant each other the space to continue growing. From Mary and Alexandra's journey, readers draw profound life lessons. Visibility matters. Mary's leap from overlooked daughter to self-possessed woman is a celebration of becoming visible both to oneself and to the world. The story insists that being seen and known is a joy every person deserves. The ordinary is radical. In a society skeptical of difference, the everyday routines of love, kindness, and intellectual fulfillment are themselves acts of resistance. Families can change. While rejection and misunderstanding are painful, growth is possible, not only in individuals, but slowly, even in families. Claiming joy is worth the cost. Both Mary and Alexandra must face scorn, misunderstanding, even loneliness to be true to who they are. Their eventual happiness, though private, is all the richer for having been chosen in the face of adversity. Queerness transcends stereotype. The novel presents sapphic love, not as an exotic anomaly, but as an ordinary, beautiful, and sustaining part of life, no less valid for being gentle or quietly lived out. So what becomes of the plainest, most overlooked Bennet girl when she dares to love? In Linz MacLeod's The Unlikely Pursuit of Mary Bennet, Mary is no longer a background character, but a complex, searching, and ultimately triumphant protagonist. She emerges from her family's shadow and centuries of erasure, claiming desire and agency with every carefully chosen act. Her pursuit is not defined by the bravado of Austen's more famous heroines, but by persistence, gentleness, and a profound reworking of what it means to find a soulmate. Mary's final victory is neither loud nor universally celebrated, but it is revolutionary in its own way. She gets to love and be loved, not for who she ought to be, but for who she truly is. In Alexandra, Mary finds not just a lover, but a mirror and a partner, someone with whom she can share not only tribulation, but authentic, everyday happiness. Together, they rewrite the expectations of their world and of every reader's vision of what a Bennet woman might dare to want. If you found yourself moved by this journey from shadows to sunlight, from erasure to selfhood, make sure to like, subscribe, and join our channel for more in-depth explorations of sapphic novels, films, manga, and beyond. Every story of quiet rebellion is worth sharing, so keep reading, keep questioning, and keep daring, just like Mary Bennet. Thank you for watching, and remember, joy is always worth the pursuit.